July will change everything for Aries if you're brave enough to answer the call. There is a moment in every warrior's life when the battlefield goes quiet, not because the fight is over, but because the universe is preparing to open a door so ancient, so precise, that only a soul forged in fire can walk through it. And Aries, that soul is you. You've always known there was something different about you, the way you burn when others flicker, the way you move when others hesitate, the way your spirit refuses to stay silent even when the world demands you play small. But lately, haven't you felt it? That pressure behind your ribs, that strange stillness before a storm, that electric tension like you're standing at the edge of something vast, something you can't quite name, but your instincts already recognize. That feeling, it's not imagination, it's timing. Because this July, the stars aren't just whispering your name, they're roaring it. The truth is, the last few months haven't been easy for Aries. You've been tested, stalled, questioned. You've poured energy into paths that didn't bloom the way you expected. You've given your all, and the results felt delayed, unfair, maybe even invisible. But nothing was wasted. The tension wasn't punishment, it was preparation. The silence wasn't absence, it was alignment. Now the gate opens. July marks the convergence of a dozen rare celestial forces, each one calibrated not just for the Zodiac in general, but for Aries specifically. This isn't vague astrology. This is a cosmic instruction manual, a master key, a divine blueprint designed to reignite everything that makes Aries unstoppable. And it begins now. Over the next few weeks, you'll be standing in the middle of a perfect storm, but not the kind you weather, the kind you command. A series of astrological alignments will push open the very doors you thought were locked. Not only will you gain clarity, you'll gain force. Not only insight, but ignition. For some, July will be just another month, but for you, Aries, it's a rebirth. This is when the fire inside you is no longer contained. It becomes a signal, a call to action, a transformation that touches every corner of your life. Relationships, career, purpose, and power. We're not talking about vague motivation here. This is precision. Your ruling planet, Mars, is moving into a creative vortex. Jupiter, the planet of expansion, is forming alliances that haven't been seen in a decade. The moon is illuminating truths you've buried under survival. And Venus is quietly healing the emotional wounds that made you question your worth. Together, these forces aren't random. They are symphonic, they are divine, and they are playing in harmony for one sign only, yours. So, if you've ever wondered, when will it be my time? Stop wondering. It's now. This month will bring clarity where there was fog, courage where there was hesitation, breakthroughs where there were blocks. You'll feel more alive, more grounded, and more certain than you've been in years. But here's the thing about cosmic blessings. They aren't handed to you. They're activated by action. And Aries, you were born for that. This isn't the moment to dim your fire or wait for permission. This is the moment to remember who you are and who you've always been. Over the next several minutes, I'm going to walk you through 12 distinct reasons why July is the most pivotal month Aries has seen in over a decade. Each reason is a gateway, each alignment an opportunity, each moment a choice to either stay where you are or rise. So get ready, because what you're about to hear isn't a horoscope, it's a cosmic reckoning. And if you listen closely, you'll realize the universe has been waiting on you. Let's begin. Reason 1. Your creativity isn't coming back, it's being reborn. There are moments in an Aries life when you don't just get inspired, you get set on fire. And July is one of those moments. This month, your ruling planet Mars enters a sacred space in your astrological chart, the 5th house, the house of creation, passion, joy, and pure, unfiltered self-expression. This isn't a small shift. It's not just a good vibe or some light inspiration. This is a creative resurrection. A cosmic unlocking of the parts of you that have been sleeping under the weight of stress, doubt, and survival. If you've been feeling blocked lately, like your ideas just aren't flowing the way they used to, like the projects you were once excited about have turned into chores, or like your imagination has been replaced with exhaustion, You're not broken. You've just been waiting for this. Mars in your fifth house is like the universe handing you the pen, the microphone, the paintbrush, the vision board, and saying, "Now, show them who you are." You might suddenly feel the urge to write again, to sing, to act, to build, to brainstorm. Ideas will come at you fast, like lightning. You won't even need to chase them. They'll chase you. And this creative rebirth isn't just for those with artistic careers. Whether you're a designer, a nurse, a construction worker, a teacher, or an entrepreneur, this energy touches every kind of creation. Even the way you speak, problem solve, dress, parent, or present yourself in meetings, all of it will start to carry a new magnetic boldness, a stamp of originality, a feeling that you're no longer editing yourself to fit in. This is Aries in full color. But here's what makes this transit so rare and powerful. It doesn't just give you more output, it changes the quality of what you create. You begin to make things that feel like you again, not watered down, socially safe versions, but raw, unfiltered, brave expressions of what you actually believe and feel. People will notice. Suddenly, others are paying attention to your work, your ideas, your energy. They'll ask, "What's gotten into you lately?" But the truth is, it's not something that got into you. It's something that finally got set free. In this chapter of your life, creativity won't be optional. It will feel like oxygen. You may find yourself returning to old dreams that once burned bright and then faded. That book idea you shelved. That side business you started sketching out but never launched. That song, that invention, that vision board that once felt too wild to pursue. July tells you, try again. And this time, the winds of the universe are behind you. You're no longer trying to force productivity. You're following fire. Let me tell you a true story about a client I worked with, a woman named Kayla, an Aries rising, who had spent years behind the scenes working in corporate marketing. She used to love photography in her early 20s, but left it behind because, in her words, life got serious. But during a previous Mars transit into her fifth house, she had a dream one night, vivid and strange, where she was walking through a burning hallway holding an old camera. The next day, she picked up her dusty Nikon and started taking photos again. Within 3 months, she was doing portrait sessions on the weekends. Within a year, she had her own studio. Not because she chased a dream, but because the dream chased her, and this time, she answered. That's what this month is asking of you. Don't just wait for motivation. Follow the sparks. Don't just settle for what's practical. Make what's powerful. Don't ask if you're ready. You are. You always were. And here's the deeper spiritual truth. Your creativity isn't just about making things. It's about reconnecting with the part of you that creates your own life. It's about choosing the version of yourself that's been waiting in the wings. And finally, giving them the spotlight. You are not here to imitate. You are not here to shrink. You are here to ignite. Let July be the month you stop creating for applause and start creating from your soul. Life. Lesson. When Aries dares to express their truth, the world listens. Not because it's polished, not because it's perfect, but because it's real. Your fire wasn't made to be quiet. It was made to light the way for others who are still afraid of their own. Reason 2. When Jupiter opens a door, Aries doesn't knock, they charge through. There's a rare moment happening in the sky this month that most people won't even notice. But you, Aries, if you're awake, if you're paying attention, you'll feel it like a pulse in your chest. It's Jupiter, the planet of expansion, forming a powerful trine with your ruling planet Mars. Now, let's pause for a second. You might have heard astrologers mention trines and expansions before, but what does this actually mean for you? It means the universe is unlocking a secret passageway between your deepest desires and real-world opportunity. Not vague luck, not shallow blessings, but alignment, the kind that turns dreams into tangible breakthroughs. This month, the projects you've started but struggled to finish, the ideas you've held back because you weren't sure if the timing was right, all of them are being bathed in Jupiter's golden light. And when Jupiter collaborates with Mars, especially in fire signs like yours, you don't just get good fortune, you get momentum. But this energy doesn't feel like quiet nudges. It feels like lightning bolts disguised as synchronicities. You'll notice it in strange ways, like a conversation that turns into an unexpected job lead, a random invitation that somehow puts you in the same room with someone who holds a missing piece of your puzzle, a bold idea you've been keeping to yourself, suddenly becoming the thing everyone wants. Let me give you a real example. There was a man I once read for, Aries sun with Mars in the first house. His life had been filled with stop-and-go energy. Nothing stuck. But during a Jupiter-Mars trine similar to the one you're experiencing this July, he got a random call from a college friend inviting him to speak at a small business panel. He almost didn't go, felt tired, too busy. But he showed up. That panel turned into a connection with an investor. That investor became the silent partner in his company. That company now generates 7 figures in revenue, all because he trusted the moment, even when it felt random. You see, Jupiter doesn't shout. It whispers, and Aries must act. This transit is not about overthinking. It's about responding to what calls your name, even if it doesn't make sense on paper. There will be opportunities this July that look out of nowhere. They aren't. They're the result of seeds you planted months ago, maybe even years ago. They just needed the right season to bloom, and this is that season. You'll notice that doors begin to open, but they won't stay open forever. Jupiter is generous, but it's also time-sensitive. You can't hesitate. You can't wait for guarantees. You must trust the rush, the gut instinct, the sudden yes that arrives out of the blue. Especially around mid-month, the universe is positioning you to take bold leaps and backing you up with protection you didn't know you had. So don't play small. Start the podcast. Send the pitch. Go to that networking event. Reach out to the person who intimidates you. Buy the domain, enroll in the course, say yes to the thing that makes your heart race and your mind panic. That's how you'll know it's the right thing. Because Aries doesn't rise by staying comfortable. Aries rises by taking the leap and building the wings on the way down. The magic of this Jupiter-Mars trine is that it adds strategy to your boldness. You won't just move fast, you'll move smart. You won't just react, you'll align. And here's the hidden blessing. This transit filters out the noise. It clears distractions. It makes the path obvious. Not easy, but clear. You'll feel it in your bones, that this is the moment to go all in. If you've been waiting for a cosmic green light, here it is. Life. Lesson. Aries was never meant to wait at the door of opportunity. You were meant to break it open with your whole heart. When the universe whispers now, your only task is to listen and leap. Reason 3. The recognition you deserve is finally catching up to the work you've done in silence. Every Aries knows the frustration of giving everything, energy, vision, passion, time, and watching the world look the other way. You blaze trails while others walk safely behind. You speak truth while others stay silent. You push projects forward while everyone else is waiting for permission. But sometimes it feels like none of it lands. Like your fire burns bright but invisible. Not anymore. On July 10th, the full moon rises directly into your 10th house, the house of career, status, leadership, and legacy. This is a moment of culmination, a spotlight the universe is shining on you, and not by accident. This full moon isn't just a pretty moon in the sky, it's a spiritual announcement, a cosmic drumbeat that echoes everything you've been building since January. You see, full moons bring results, and this one isn't just about outcomes, it's about validation. The kind of long overdue recognition that makes you realize, I wasn't crazy for believing in this, I was early. Maybe you've been putting in extra hours behind the scenes, grinding without applause. Maybe you've built something from the ground up with no roadmap. Maybe you've carried your team, your family, or your business on your back, and no one noticed the weight. This full moon notices, and it delivers. Expect sudden clarity around your professional path, not just in terms of where you're going, but whether you're on the right road. And if you're not, the moon will show you where to pivot, not to punish you, but to protect your highest potential. This is especially important for Aries who've been working a job that no longer reflects their values, or building a brand that no longer reflects their soul. Because what this moon brings is alignment between your public identity and your private truth. And that alignment is what creates power. During this time, it's likely you'll experience one of the following: a superior suddenly noticing your impact, a stalled promotion becoming unblocked, a media opportunity, offer, or collaboration presenting itself, a surge of confidence around your professional identity, a chance to pivot or expand into a more authentic expression of your work. But it's not just about being seen, it's about being seen for who you really are. That's the difference with this moon. It doesn't reward performance, it rewards truth. And the more aligned you've been in your career path, even when it wasn't profitable, even when others didn't get it, the greater the harvest this moon brings. Let me tell you about a man I once guided through this exact full moon transit. He was an Aries sun, working a corporate role for 10 years, making good money, but completely disconnected from his purpose. Earlier in the year, he started teaching a martial arts class once a week. It wasn't part of a plan, it was just something he loved. That one class became 2, then 5. By the time this full moon hit, he had students waiting on a list. He left his job 3 weeks later, not because the moon made it happen, but because it showed him what was already working. This is your chance to do the same. Ask yourself honestly, what have you been building quietly that deserves a louder life? What part of your career reflects your soul, not just your resume? This full moon may also reconnect you with someone who once overlooked you and now sees your value. Don't be surprised if the very people who doubted you before suddenly become supporters. That's not a coincidence, it's karma, catching up in real time. And if you felt invisible in your career, this moon asks a simple question. Are you showing up as your real self? Or a version of yourself you think people want? Because July doesn't just offer recognition, it offers redirection to a life where your work and your worth finally align. Life. Lesson. You weren't made to be a background character in your own life. You were made to lead, to shine without shrinking, to be seen, not for who the world expects, but for who you actually are. Let this full moon remind you, your voice, your vision, and your value are not up for debate. They're undeniable. Reason 4. Your confidence isn't just coming back, it's becoming unshakable. Circle July 15th on your calendar, because on this day, something extraordinary happens in the heavens, and it lands directly in your favor. A rare grand trine in fire signs appears in the sky, a formation of 3 planets creating a perfect triangle, flowing in pure harmony, all in the elements that reflect your essence. This isn't just astrology, it's cosmic choreography, and it lights up the part of your chart that governs self-worth, charisma, and personal magnetism. This is your moment, not a quiet boost, not a modest shift. We're talking about a full activation of your inner fire, confidence that isn't loud, but undeniable, presence that doesn't beg, but commands. You know those moments when you walk into a room and people just feel you before you speak? That's the energy this trine brings. Not because you're trying harder, but because you're finally standing in your truth without apology. For many Aries, this summer has already begun the process of shedding layers, outdated beliefs, stagnant relationships, old wounds that left invisible bruises on your self-image. But on this day, the transformation clicks. You see yourself clearly, you remember your power, and when you do, the world responds. This shift isn't about ego. In fact, it's the opposite. It's the moment you stop performing for approval and start living from conviction. That's when real charisma happens. You'll notice things begin to flow more easily in your relationships. People lean in when you speak. Strangers compliment your energy. Colleagues defer to your opinion. Romantic prospects appear, not because you're searching, but because you're aligned. And for those in long-term relationships, this confidence realignment renews attraction. Your partner sees you with fresh eyes, because when Aries is in their fire, the whole room glows. Let me tell you a quick story. A client of mine, Aries moon, Leo rising, had spent years battling social anxiety. She knew she was smart, creative, dynamic, but she always felt invisible, especially in group settings. During a similar grand trine in fire, she began attending local open mic nights. She didn't perform, she just watched. Then one night, she brought a poem. She stood on that stage with trembling hands, and the room held her, not just because of her words, but because she wasn't hiding anymore. That night changed her life, and it all started when she allowed herself to show up as she was. That's what July 15th offers you, a doorway into radical self-trust, not the kind you earn through perfection, but the kind you claim through presence. It's not about being the loudest voice. It's about speaking the truth no one else is brave enough to say. It's about walking like someone who remembers they were born to lead, not because of the crowd behind them, but because of the fire inside them. And this shift impacts every part of your life. Job interviews go differently, sales pitches land, partnerships click. You find yourself attracting the right people because you're no longer trying to be someone you're not. There's a magnetic field around authenticity, and you, Aries, are stepping into yours. Life. Lesson. True confidence isn't loud, it's rooted. It's knowing you don't need to shrink to be accepted or inflate to be seen. You are enough when you're honest. You are powerful when you're real. And when you walk in alignment with who you are, the universe doesn't just notice, it amplifies you. Reason 5. Love isn't just returning, it's being rewritten with truth. Something sacred is unfolding in your relationship sector this month. Not just romance, but the energy of healing, connection, and divine timing. Why? Because Venus, the planet of love and beauty, enters your 7th house of partnership, and she isn't coming alone. She's meeting Neptune in a rare harmonic aspect that doesn't just touch your heart, it reprograms it. This is one of those moments when the universe doesn't send another test, it sends a second chance, not to repeat the past, but to rewrite it. If you've been wounded in love, betrayed, ghosted, undervalued, this month offers more than surface-level healing. It brings cosmic closure. Venus doesn't just ask you to fall in love, she asks, can you let go of the need to be chosen so you can choose yourself first? And Neptune responds, can you stop romanticizing pain and start expecting alignment? For Aries, this is a powerful and sometimes uncomfortable shift. Because you love fast, you love hard, but sometimes you mistake intensity for intimacy. This July, you finally see the difference. This Venus transit acts like a mirror. It shows you what you've been accepting in relationships and what you've been denying yourself. It reminds you of the parts of you that have settled, stayed, or stayed silent just to keep a connection alive. But here's the gift. You're no longer willing to shrink for someone else's comfort. You're no longer addicted to emotional adrenaline. You're no longer confusing chemistry with compatibility. And because of that, the right people start arriving. You'll notice this shift in multiple ways. If you're single, you may suddenly meet someone who feels eerily familiar, not karmic pain, but karmic peace. If you're in a relationship, unresolved tension may rise to the surface, not to cause conflict, but to release old patterns. If you've recently left a connection, this month brings validation that you made the right choice and helps you heal the residue that lingers. And for some Aries, this is the month you finally stop blaming yourself for what someone else didn't see in you. Because the truth is, their blindness wasn't your flaw, it was your protection. Let me tell you about a woman I worked with, Aries Sun, Venus in Pisces. She had just left a relationship that looked perfect on paper, but left her soul exhausted. Venus entered her 7th house during a similar transit. One night, she journaled a letter to herself, promising never again to betray her own intuition for the sake of love. 3 weeks later, she met someone at a spiritual workshop. Not flashy, not fast, but present, aligned, true. That's what Venus brings when you stop forcing and start receiving. And this energy doesn't only affect romance, it touches all relationships, family, friends, business partners. You'll find that toxic cords begin to unravel, fake connections fall away, conversations that once felt hard now flow with unexpected grace. And it's not because people have changed, it's because you have. You've softened your armor, not by becoming weak, but by becoming whole. You're no longer seeking completion through others. You're building connection from overflow, not desperation. And in that space, true love grows. Life. Lesson. Love was never meant to be a battlefield. For Aries, the real journey is learning that you don't need to fight for what's aligned. The more you choose yourself, honestly, fiercely, unapologetically, the more love shows up that doesn't require you to burn just to stay warm. Reason 6. The fog finally lifts, and the right words come back. There are few things more frustrating to an Aries than blocked communication. You're ruled by Mars, the planet of action. You're built to move, to lead, to say what others are afraid to speak. But when Mercury, the planet of communication, goes retrograde, it's like someone ties your fire to a wall. Your words feel misunderstood. Your emails vanish into black holes. Your ideas don't land the way they should. But that fog, it's lifting. The second Mercury retrograde of the year officially ends in early July. And for you, Aries, this isn't just relief, it's release. It's the return of flow, truth, clarity, and impact. And here's what's powerful. As Mercury stations direct, it does so in a fellow fire sign, forming a harmonious trine to your own energy. That means this isn't just a return to normal, it's an upgrade. It's like stepping from a dim room into full sunlight and realizing how much you've been squinting. Conversations that stalled begin to move again. Contracts that were delayed now come through. Misunderstandings that caused stress suddenly make sense. But more than that, you find your voice again. Not just your speaking voice, your inner voice. The one that says, this is what I want, this is what I believe, this is who I am. And when that voice returns, everything changes. You'll find yourself speaking up in places you used to shrink. You'll write or post something that resonates more deeply than you expected. You'll be able to articulate your needs in your relationships with clarity and courage. You'll know exactly how to pitch your idea, propose your vision, or rewrite that email that was stuck in your drafts. For some Aries, this shift will feel like creative oxygen. That book you started writing, it flows again. That idea for your business, it finally has words. That conversation you've been avoiding, you're ready to have it, and this time, you'll be understood. Let me tell you about an Aries man I worked with, Mercury in Aries. Always bold, but recently he'd felt blocked. His job was on the line due to a conflict with his manager. Everything he tried to say came out wrong, defensive, misunderstood, too sharp. But the day Mercury stationed direct, something clicked. He sent one email. Simple, clear. He took full responsibility, but without apologizing for his truth. Within hours, he got a reply. Not only was his job safe, they offered him a lead on a new project. The power of aligned words. This is what Mercury brings you now. Not just the ability to talk, but the ability to land. If you felt misread, misrepresented, or just plain blocked, July is your opening. But here's the deeper truth. The retrograde taught you something too. It showed you where you still hesitate, where your words protect instead of reveal, where you speak from reaction rather than intention. Now, with Mercury moving forward, you speak from knowing. And this applies beyond communication. This is about how you present yourself, online, in meetings, on dates, on stage, in rooms where your future is being decided. This is the time to refine your message, to sharpen your truth, to remember that your voice is not just a tool, it's a frequency. And when you speak in that frequency, the right people hear you. Life. Lesson. Your words create worlds. When Aries speaks from clarity instead of urgency, from depth instead of defense, people don't just listen, they follow. This is your moment to stop explaining and start declaring. Because your voice was never lost, it was simply waiting for alignment. Reason 7. You're not just being called to lead, you're being rewired for it. In every Aries life, there comes a moment when they stop asking for permission. They stop waiting for the world to catch up. And they realize, I was made to go first, not because I'm better, but because I was built for the risk. This is that moment. Mid-July, something extraordinary happens, not just astrologically, but energetically. A powerful solar flare, tracked by astronomers and intuitives alike, is forecast to erupt from a specific region of the sun. Now, to the average eye, this is just space weather. But if you understand energy, and especially if you're Aries, you'll feel it in your body, because that flare is syncing with your leadership sector in the astrological chart. It's like a celestial command center sending you a transmission. It's time to rise, now. This isn't about becoming a boss. It's about owning your influence in your family, your community, your craft, your conversations, your ideas. It's about knowing when to speak and when to move, and doing both with fire and wisdom. You see, Aries leadership isn't like anyone else's. It's not planned, it's not polished, it's instinctive, it's raw, it's honest. But sometimes that very honesty gets misread as arrogance, impulsiveness, or being too much. So what do? You pull back, you wait, you let others lead, and then regret it when things go off course. No more. This solar event is your spiritual permission slip, and more than that, it upgrades your natural leadership energy with a dose of emotional intelligence. It doesn't just amplify your voice, it sharpens your timing. That means you won't just be bold, you'll be effective. You'll feel the difference between reacting to everything and responding to the right things. For example, you'll know which meetings to lead and which ones to walk away from. You'll sense when your team needs fire and when they need calm. You'll stop over-explaining and start commanding presence through clarity, not force. You'll trust your gut when it says, go left, even when everyone else goes right. I once coached a man, Aries sun with Saturn in Leo. He was the kind of guy who had brilliant ideas, but always deferred to others out of politeness. During a solar flare similar to this one, something in him snapped, in a good way. He stood up in a boardroom meeting and challenged a decision that would have cost the company thousands. They listened. He was promoted 3 weeks later, not because he was loud, but because for the first time, he was certain. That's what this cosmic moment brings, certainty. Not the kind you fake, the kind that rises in your chest like breath, steady, warm, and unshakable. And here's the beautiful twist. Even if you've never seen yourself as a leader, you'll feel the shift. Because leadership isn't about status, it's about responsibility. It's about how you show up, not where. This energy invites you to take charge of your energy, your decisions, your direction. No more waiting to be chosen. You choose, you guide, you lead. In personal life, this might look like setting a boundary no one expected. In career, it could mean launching a new idea without a safety net. In relationships, it might be saying, this is what I need, and meaning it. And the magic? People respond, not because you force them, but because you finally stepped into your fire without apology. Life lesson. Leadership isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the calm in the chaos. Sometimes it's the decision no one wants to make, but you make it anyway. This month, the universe doesn't just put you in charge. It reminds you that you were born to lead when others are too afraid to speak. Reason 8. The risk you took months ago wasn't a gamble. It was a prophecy. Let's go back for a moment. Remember the choice you made earlier this year, the one that felt bold, maybe even reckless? Maybe it was an investment, a leap, a shift, something everyone else doubted, but you couldn't ignore. At the time, there were no guarantees, no safety nets, just a fire in your gut and a whisper from your future saying, do it. And now, Aries, that risk is about to pay off. Around July 22nd, as the sun moves into Leo, another fire sign, it activates your 5th house, which governs risk-taking, creativity, and personal expression. But more importantly, this activation creates a ripple that touches your financial sector. It's not a coincidence, it's a cosmic return. That moment of courage months ago wasn't random, it was alignment. And now, the universe sends back your signal, multiplied. This might show up as an unexpected payment, a new client or project, a surge in business, a job offer you didn't even apply for, a breakthrough on a stalled opportunity, a performance bonus or revenue increase that catches you off guard. But whatever form it takes, know this, it's not luck, it's your energy, finally circling back. You see, financial abundance doesn't just follow effort, it follows aligned effort. The kind that comes from truth, not fear. The kind that moves even when no one else believes yet. And that's exactly what Aries does best. You don't build by consensus. You build by instinct. You take action while others are still analyzing. And yes, that can feel lonely. That can feel scary, especially when the results don't show up right away. But that delay, it wasn't rejection. It was ripening. And now, it's ready. Let me tell you about an Aries woman I guided earlier this year. She'd just launched an online wellness coaching platform. She had no followers, no email list, just a story and a vision. She put her savings into a brand video, and her friends called it too much. In March, she almost shut it down. No sign-ups, no traction, but she stayed with it. And then in July, a small influencer reposted her story. It blew up. In 1 week, she booked out her services until December. Was it strategy? Partly, but mostly, it was soul timing. And this month, Aries, you're standing in your own version of that moment. The door opens, not because you force it, but because you stayed with it. And the most beautiful part? This financial reward isn't coming from compromise. It's coming from authenticity. It's the universe confirming you don't have to pretend, perform, or play small to prosper. That's what makes this abundance so powerful. It reinforces a deeper truth. Money flows when fire meets faith. So if an opportunity arises this month, even if it seems small or random, pay attention. If someone reaches out unexpectedly, follow up. If you feel drawn to send a message, pitch an idea, or revisit a bold move from earlier this year, do it. This is not the month to downplay your value. This is the month to collect on it. Life. Lesson. Abundance doesn't always arrive when you want it. It arrives when you're finally ready to receive without apology. That risk you took wasn't reckless, it was rooted. And now the universe proves boldness born from truth always circles back with blessing. Reason 9. Your body isn't slowing down, it's leveling up. Have you felt more restless lately, Aries? More alive, but also like you're brimming with something you can't quite name? That's not caffeine, that's not stress, that's Mars energy, and it's about to peak in your physical body and transform the way you move, recover, and feel in July. Here's why. Mars, your ruling planet, is forming a harmonious sextile with Jupiter, the planet of expansion, while also receiving a trine from the Sun. That's 3 powerhouse energies all working in your favor. And when Mars is this activated, Aries doesn't just get motivation, Aries gets momentum. We're talking about your yearly physical high point. This means faster recovery, sharper instincts, clearer energy management, and most importantly, alignment between your body and your vision. You won't just want to move, you'll need to. Not because you're trying to escape something, but because your body becomes your compass. Your physical energy becomes a channel for clarity. This month, you'll experience what athletes call the zone, that space where the body moves and the mind quiets, where your decision-making sharpens because you're not overthinking, you're trusting instinct. This is powerful for anyone, but especially for Aries, because your body is your message. The way you walk, act, show up, create. It all starts with how you feel in your skin. If you've been feeling sluggish lately, or like your usual energy just hasn't been flowing the same way, July flips the switch. And it's not just about exercise, it's about embodiment. You'll begin to enjoy movement again. You'll crave long walks, morning workouts, outdoor hikes, dance, yoga, whatever brings you back to your center. Even simple things like choosing stairs over elevators will feel like micro victories. Your spirit is anchoring deeper into your form. For some Aries, this is a breakthrough moment with fitness. You'll finally push past a plateau. You'll surprise yourself with stamina, endurance, and emotional clarity mid-workout. Old frustrations with your body start to dissolve, replaced by trust. You realize your body isn't here to betray you, it's here to express your power. Let me share a real story. A client of mine, Aries Sun, Mars in Sagittarius, had been battling physical burnout all spring. She was a former athlete who had lost her rhythm, gained weight, and doubted her strength. But in a Mars-Jupiter trine like the one this month, she got the urge to revisit a boxing class she hadn't touched in years. One session turned into 5. By the end of the month, she told me something that hit me hard. I don't care about the weight anymore. I just missed feeling like myself in motion. And that's what July returns to you, your fire in motion. Even Aries dealing with chronic conditions or limitations will feel a shift. This is not about perfection. It's about reclaiming the joy of feeling alive in your own body. No shame, no comparison, just movement. And the spiritual layer? It's this. When Aries aligns physically, everything else follows. Your body is the first responder to truth. When it feels strong, grounded, and awake, so does your intuition, so do your decisions, so does your creative flow. You stop second-guessing, you stop waiting, you act, because your entire system is finally saying, yes, let's go. Life, lesson. Aries doesn't just think their way into clarity, they move into it. This month, your body becomes your compass, your channel, your truth teller. Follow what makes you feel strong, free, and fully alive. Because your fire isn't just in your mind, it's in your movement. Let it carry you forward. Reason 10. You're not just awakening. You're remembering who you were before the world told you to forget. There's a moment in every Aries journey when external success stops being enough, when the applause gets quiet and something deeper begins to stir. A whisper, a question, a calling. This July, that whisper turns into a wave, and it's coming from the new moon on July 28th, landing directly in your 12th house of spirituality, intuition, and soul memory. This isn't just another new moon. It forms what astrologers call a yod, a rare, divine configuration often referred to as the finger of God. It's as if the universe itself is pointing at you and saying, this is your moment to remember. Remember what? Your original light. The part of you untouched by failure, by fear, by performance. The part of you that existed before the conditioning, before the armor, before the noise. This moon doesn't ask you to act. It asks you to listen, to sit in silence and let what's been buried rise, to pay attention to the dreams, symbols, and synchronicities arriving all around you, to tune out the noise of the world and tune in to the signal of your own soul. For Aries, a sign known for forward motion, this is a sacred pause. But make no mistake, this stillness is not stagnation, it's preparation. Because what you'll receive in the quiet of this moon is direction, clarity, a kind of soul GPS that doesn't come from planning, but from alignment. You may experience vivid dreams that reveal hidden desires or unresolved fears, a sudden craving for solitude, nature, or spiritual study, an urge to journal, meditate, or revisit forgotten practices. Emotional waves that cleanse rather than drown you, a breakthrough insight about your life purpose. Let me tell you a story. A client, Aries rising, Neptune in the 12th, had been hustling for years, always building, always moving, but she kept hitting a wall. During a Yod new moon just like this one, she had a dream of her childhood home, not the physical one, but a symbolic one, filled with candles, altars, and open books. She woke up crying and went silent for 3 days. No social media, no noise, just stillness. On day 4, she wrote the first chapter of the spiritual memoir she'd been avoiding for 10 years. She didn't plan it. She heard it. That's what this moon can do, if you make space for it. This is the time to walk barefoot, to sleep with crystals under your pillow, to pray out loud, to cry without needing to fix it, to let yourself be guided by feeling instead of formula. Because the truth is, Aries is not just the warrior of the Zodiac. Aries is also the spiritual spark, the soul that says yes before knowing why. And this moon, it's your reminder that you don't have to always charge forward to find meaning. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is sit still and listen to what's already inside you. Life. Lesson. You are not just a leader in the world, You are a student of the soul. And when Aries dares to go inward, to face their own silence, to trust their own spirit, they don't just awaken, they remember who they are, why they're here, and where they're meant to go next. Reason 11, the wound in your family line is finally ready to heal, and you're the one meant to break the cycle. Not all breakthroughs come with celebration. Some arrive with trembling, with tears, with a simple, honest conversation that changes everything. And this July, Aries, you're being given the opportunity to heal something ancestral, something old, heavy, and quietly running your life from the shadows. The lunar nodes, powerful points of destiny and karma, are activating your fourth house this month, which governs home, family, childhood conditioning, and your emotional foundation. Think of it like this. If your soul is a house, the fourth house is the basement. And right now, the universe is turning on the light, not to shame you, but to show you what needs to be cleared, honored, and finally released. For Aries, a sign that often charges forward and deals with it later, this might feel foreign. Why revisit the past? Why stir up old pain? Because some of what's holding you back in the present didn't begin with you. It began with the stories you inherited, with the dynamics you normalized, with the silence you accepted as survival. But now, you're strong enough to face it. This is a month where you may finally speak the truth to a parent figure, release guilt or grief you've been carrying for someone else. Forgive a sibling or relative, not for their sake, but for your peace. Break a pattern of people-pleasing or emotional avoidance. Redefine what family means to you entirely. And here's the deeper invitation. You are not here to carry your family's pain forever. You are here to transform it, to be the first to say, "This ends with me." Let me share a true story. An Aries man I guided last year had been carrying a complicated relationship with his father, a man who never expressed love, only expectation. They hadn't spoken in over a year. During a lunar node activation in his fourth house, he had a dream, one where his father hugged him and said nothing. The next day, he sent a message, short, honest, vulnerable. 2 days later, they met for coffee. There were no fireworks, no tearful confessions, just presence. But something in him unlocked. That night, he told me, "For the first time in my life, I don't feel like I'm running from something." That's what healing can look like. Not drama, but dignity. And even if the person you need to heal with is no longer here, the conversation is still possible. Write them a letter, speak to their spirit, forgive them without needing them to ask. Because forgiveness doesn't make what happened okay, it makes you free. This fourth house activation isn't about building walls, it's about building roots, ones that come from your truth, not your trauma. It's the difference between creating a life in reaction to your past and creating a life that reclaims your power. And when you do this, everything else stabilizes. You sleep better, you breathe easier. You stop expecting new relationships to fix old wounds. You stop reenacting patterns that don't belong to you. You become a cycle breaker, a soul liberator, a quiet revolutionary in your bloodline. Life lesson. You can't rewrite your past, Aries, but you can choose what you carry into your future. This month, the universe hands you the key to a door that stayed closed for too long. Open it with courage, walk through it with grace, and leave behind what was never yours to carry. Reason 12. One meeting will change everything, and it won't feel like chance, because it isn't. There are moments when your entire life pivots, not through hard work, not through hustle, but through a single, unexpected connection that feels like fate cracked open the sky just for you. That moment is coming, Aries. And it's coming at the very end of July, when Jupiter, the planet of expansion, opportunity, and divine blessing, forms a rare, perfect sextile with Uranus, the planet of surprises, disruption, and soul-level breakthroughs. This alignment is what astrologers call a cosmic wild card. But it's not reckless, it's precise, it's intentional, and it's meant for you. Around this time, you'll encounter someone, a stranger, a mentor, a colleague, even someone online who somehow feels familiar, not in a surface way, but in the way your soul recognizes its next chapter. They might finish your sentences. They might challenge your thinking. They might offer something, a resource, an idea, a path, that suddenly makes the next step obvious. This isn't a coincidence. This is cosmic choreography. Here's what's crucial. You have to be present enough to recognize it. This person might appear at an event you almost skipped through a random message or introduction, in a social setting outside your usual circles, through a delayed plan that suddenly reshuffles perfectly. But no matter how they arrive, you'll feel the shift. Your energy will change in their presence. Your vision will expand, and things that felt too far away will suddenly seem one decision away. Let me tell you a story. One of my Aries clients had been building a business for 2 years with little traction. She was burnt out, discouraged, ready to let it go. But one day, she got stuck in traffic, took a side street, and ended up grabbing coffee at a place she'd never been. There, she struck up a conversation with a woman at the next table. That woman? A former investor and now mentor. Within 6 weeks, her entire model shifted. Within 6 months, she was working full-time on her dream. This kind of magic doesn't happen despite who Aries is. It happens because you're willing to act on instinct, to follow the spark, to speak when others stay silent. This final blessing isn't just about luck, it's about divine alignment. And this person, whoever they are, will bring clarity, confirmation, and momentum to everything you've been building. It's not about them saving you, it's about them mirroring the version of you you're ready to become. They won't take your power, they'll activate it. So, trust the unexpected, answer the call, say yes to the weird invitation, respond to the message, start the conversation. Because this connection, it's more than a meeting, it's a portal, and what you build from it could change the entire trajectory of your life. Life. Lesson. Sometimes destiny doesn't knock. It sits next to you at a coffee shop. Sometimes it doesn't shout. It simply feels right. Don't underestimate the power of a single, divinely timed encounter. The universe is sending you a collaborator, a catalyst, a mirror, someone who doesn't just see who you are, but who you're becoming. Be ready. Conclusion. This month isn't just a chapter. It's a portal to the life you were born to live. Aries, take a deep breath. Because if you've listened this far, really listened, then you know something powerful has already shifted inside of you. You didn't come here looking for predictions. You came here looking for confirmation. And now you have it. This isn't just another month. This is the moment the fire inside of you aligns with the fire above you. 12 rare cosmic alignments, each one tailor-made to unlock a different part of your truth. Your creativity is reignited, not to impress, but to express. Your opportunities multiply, not from luck, but from alignment. Your voice returns with power, and people listen. Your confidence isn't about pretending, it's about presence. Your relationships deepen, soften, and finally make sense. Your body becomes a channel for clarity, strength, and intuition. Your leadership evolves into wisdom. Your family wounds stop being prisons and start becoming portals. Your spiritual path opens, not with rules, but with resonance. And your destiny, it doesn't wait any longer. It meets you face to face in the form of a soul-aligned connection you didn't see coming, but were always meant to receive. But now comes the most important part. What will you do with this? Because the stars can align, the energy can surge, the timing can be perfect, but only you can say yes. Only you can send the message, take the leap, forgive the past, start the thing, tell the truth, walk away, begin again. Only you can live the life your fire was built for. And if you do, if you show up for these prophecies, not as a passive listener, but as an active participant, this won't just be a powerful month. It will be a turning point you look back on for the rest of your life. A before and after. A moment when you stopped waiting and started rising. Because Aries, you were never here to follow the path. You were born to blaze it. Final life. Lesson. The universe is saying yes to you this month. Yes to your voice. Yes to your truth. Yes to your leadership, your love, your clarity, your courage. But none of that means anything unless you say yes back. If this message lit something in you, share it. Drop a comment and tell us, which of these 12 prophecies are already unfolding in your life? What are you saying yes to this July? And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button right now, because this channel, Zodiac Secrets Revealed, is where Aries comes home to its power, not through predictions, but through soul-level activation. We're not here to entertain you, we're here to awaken you, to remind you, you are the first fire, the pioneer, the warrior, the spark that turns waiting into action and dreams into destiny. This is your month, Aries. Now go claim it.